really want to see younger people chase after what they want. I think it's gonna, like, that kind of mentality has the ability to change so much more than, like, into your community. Because me as a business owner, I can do things for the community that corporations could never really do. They're not in touch with the community as much as I am. I live in the community. You know, I mean, I've lived in Chautauqua County for most of my life, and to be able to open a business here, you get to meet new people in the community. You get to, you know, like the charity event, do things like for charity in the community, things that hit home, things that, you know, a friend could be helped by, or, you know, a family member or something like that. Those are things that are important to me.
It counts.
It does. It absolutely does. And I think if more people did more to change and affect their own community, I think you'd see like a broad change like around the world, really. I think it's important for people, like, just for their mental health, to like do something that they want to do. I think that a lot of people, they get stuck chasing dollar bills to survive, and they never really put their finger on what it is they want to do. And I mean, you see it. Right. I mean, well, you see it with a lot of people, like even like in the older generation, where, you know, a lot of people doubted my ability to get into this just because they went to work and they did it for 35 to 40 years and they had a great retirement, and they didn't necessarily like going to work every day, but they liked the life that it provided. And for me, like, I get bored kind of easily. So if I go to just, you know, sit at a desk and it's not stimulating mentally and it's not intriguing me, I can't do it. I can't force myself to wake up in the morning and go do it.
And
It's something to take pride in. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, you can take pride in doing that.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're not happy, like, it's hard. Like, for me, that's just not me. I can't. I mean,
and I think
I could do it if I had to, but
mentality.
you can do it for yourself. I mean, like, I think the impossibility is gone now. You have social media. You can reach people that you could have never reached before. You can get advice from people you could never get advice from before. You could have a mentor on the other side of the world, and you would never be able to have that before. Now with the internet, you have access to information that you can use for your success, that you would have had to spend years at school and pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, and, you know, walk out with a degree before you could ever be taken seriously. Now, if you know the information and you're able to apply yourself and work hard, you got it, you know? And it's such a niche too. So, like, it doesn't even have to be like, I mean, if you want to do, I mean, like, let's say you want to get into a restaurant and you want to open your own restaurant, like, there are so many resources out there. Like, if you get on YouTube, there's all kinds of marketing videos, there's all kinds of, and from very reputable people, where you would have had to pay for a class to get that information at any other time in history, or, you know, learn it through hard knocks. You have that at your fingertips, and you know, all it is like, you know, either an article or, you know, little segments of. You don't have to buy a textbook anymore. You can go out and you can find the information, and it takes away the fear of failure, because you see a lot of people who go out and do it, and in all honesty, if you learn and you learn the steps and you apply yourself and you make the rule of, okay, this is how I'm going to do it, and you don't veer from that. If you start veering from that, people notice, and you start to doubt yourself, and you got to just come up with a plan and work the plan and stick to the plan, and don't run from the plan when it gets hard, because it's going to get really hard. There's a lot of times where it's just like you want to throw in the towel, and it's just, you can't. You have to just keep putting one foot in front of the other till you make it. When it comes down to it, you in this restaurant, I have to wash dishes, I have to clean the floors, I have to clean the windows, I have to take orders, I have to cook. You have to be able to, you can't put yourself on a pedestal to the point where you're too good to do this, or you're the owner so you shouldn't have to do this. You're the owner so you should do it. You should know what it's about. You should, you know, if it stinks washing dishes, well, it stinks washing dishes, and that's part of the... But what's nice is, like, when you're doing it, you get to have, I mean, no one else is going to take care of your business like you take care of your business. And so there's a little bit of control in the fact that when you wash the dishes, maybe it's just a little bit better because your heart and soul's in it. You know, you're not just doing it. You're doing it because of survival. You're doing it because you have a vision. You're doing it because you have passion. And it's hard, like even, I mean, what's great is we have great employees here, and they work really hard and they take a lot of pride in what they do. But at the end of the day, like I can't ask them to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure everything is ready to go. You know, I mean, that's where personal responsibility comes in. You got to do it.
I feel the same way with it, and it's only me in this.
But I mean, it also, I mean, it shows your employees that you're not afraid to work, you're not afraid to get dirty, you're not afraid to do the things that you're asking them to do. I think a lot of times where people go wrong is they'll tell their employees to do something like clean the grease trap, but the employee knows darn well that they're not willing to do it themselves. And I mean, that's not good for morale.
I've worked for people, some subs.
All right, so the way we set it up was kind of like a dual concept restaurant. We have the Mexicali burrito company side of it, where you have burritos, quesadillas, you have churros for dessert, you have tacos, and you can customize them however you want. So you start with your meat and you go down through all of our toppings and sauces and salsas and things like that. And then you have the pizzeria side of it where we do the wings, subs, and pizzas, and also 100% customizable. We have you start with your meats and cheeses and you go into whatever else you want.
So
I want people to get what they want every time.
with that,
And if they want to try something, even better. You know, if they want to be able to put cilantro and they've never had cilantro before, they want to put it on their taco, but just one taco because they don't want to ruin the other two if they don't like it. So absolutely, you know, go ahead, add it to one taco and try it. See if you like it. And if you like it, you're going to be back. We have to add variety. Otherwise, I mean, I couldn't see just tacos, burritos, and quesadillas like really putting us over the edge. And so I figured, let's do pizzas, let's do subs, let's do wings, and we'll kind of split it down the middle. We'll do, you know, the Mexicali pizza treat and be able to have a little bit of something for everybody.
so now, I want.
Right, exactly. Yep, so with a lot of the pizzas, we'll start off with your sauce and cheese, and then you can add as many toppings as you want. We have some that are already kind of pre-selected for you so that you can just say, I want the meat lovers, and you don't have to go through the list of, you know, all the meats. So they just come pre-selected with them. But you have the ability to customize it, and you can customize it with ingredients from either side of the menu. If you want, you know, a taco pizza, you got a taco pizza. And it's just a way that people who, you know, and we've come up with a few menu items just by doing that, by having people add what they want to it, and it sounds good. We try it ourselves, and it tastes delicious, and there it goes. We're going to do catering. We're not just yet. This upcoming Saturday is going to be our real test. We have a catering event for 300 people down at the American Legion for their lawnmower poker run, and so I'm really excited about it. So the inception of the business was my mother and I had a food truck. It went well. The only problem was the winters. The winters were miserable. We'd have to close down October, November at the very latest, and just couldn't do it without the brick and mortar. It was the Mexicali aspect of this restaurant was in the food truck, so it was burritos, tacos, churros, all those kinds of things. So it was a straight Tex-Mex on a food truck. It was just the two of us most of the time, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So you did that for how long?
We had that for, I think, 2 or 3 years, and then ended it for a while. I went back to work in other restaurants, realized quickly that the restaurants there wasn't a whole lot of upward movement in these restaurants. You know, small local restaurants that were really just, you know, you're a line cook and the owner is the chef, or you're a line cook and the owner is like the manager, and there was really no momentum or movement. And so I got out of the restaurants and went into manufacturing, and that gave me the ability to open this.
It did.
Yep.
Yeah, because the restaurant business is
Right. I mean, there's only so much money to be made as a cook, and you know,
that's not enough to
so I had to find another path.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted to do, but how I got there was just going to have to change a little.
Sure. Now, how long was that?
I was doing that for 2 years before I started in on this, and then once I started in on this, it moved really quickly. I found the building, we talked to the landlord, we got in here probably within 3 weeks of the very beginning of the notion of coming in here. It was, oh yeah, it was like, it was that fast, yeah.
Holy crap.
Selling point. The selling point was the patio and the high ceilings, and you could walk in the door and just see the potential. A lot of places around here you don't see that. You see a real tired building and a really tired, atmosphere that's going to cost a lot of money to correct. Here it was like a blank canvas. There was, certain things that were good enough, and then other things that were fairly simple improvements. And like I said, like a blank canvas. Just, yeah, it was, putting in the front counter, painting, learned how to do graffiti. I just kind of, yeah, I did that. And I just kind of did it like on the fly. I was really no idea what I was doing, just decided, okay, I want graffiti on the walls, and I was struggling to find anyone who was willing to do it. So I was like, all right, here goes nothing. Which has worked out really well for, for people coming in. We get a lot of mix of product. Some people come in and get burritos, but then they'll also bring a pizza home, or get burritos and their child to get a sub, or wife, We kind of did both. We added a few things and we eliminated a few things. A lot of that had to do with labor. It's a very small location, so it's, a lot of the things are labor intensive already. So you start throwing in a bunch of stuff. The volume's a little higher than the food truck. So to sit there and make empanadas for a week would be a nightmare here, where it was fantastic for the food truck. You just make a couple and go out the door. And when you're out, people are a lot more understanding when you run out on a food truck versus when you run out in a restaurant.
Right. That's a really good point.
Right.
You know what I mean? They see everything. I think it's
limited availability. Yeah. You change your hours. When it's pouring down rain, everyone knows you're closed. You change your location, so you're not always even in the same spot as you were yesterday. So you're getting a completely different clientele every day. And
now, was that your first experience in running a restaurant?
It was my first experience in running my own business in general. Before that, I was always doing it for other people.
Sure. Now, but you had to gain a ton of experience in those other places, and that's what I love.
Yeah, that's 100%. You're working for other people, and it's kind of a blessing and a curse, because you're running it their way. You're gaining the experience that they're offering. And when you do it for yourself, you're inevitably going to find different ways that you want it done versus what you had been taught to do. Some things work for some restaurants that would never work here. I've always done full service restaurants, whereas this is a counter service restaurant where you come up to the counter and order. You don't have the aspect of the servers. You don't have to worry about, all of the things that come along with that. Running drinks, server stations. It's really just a kitchen with a counter.
And that's what I grew up.
Right. I mean, when you get into bussing tables, and instead of just wiping the tables down, you have to go out and clear plates in between courses. You have to. It adds to the labor. It adds a different experience. We wanted something where people can come in, they can get their food, and they can go back to work, or come in, get their food, go home. Take it to go. I didn't want people to be afraid to get the food to go. I know at a lot of full service restaurants, people don't call ahead and get, we do the delivery. So then there's another aspect, like, don't be afraid to call for delivery just because, you have a server or something like that. Right. And I mean, as a small business owner, you are the HR department. You're shipping and receiving. You're everything. And if you don't know it and you're expected to train other people to do it, what I originally wanted to do is find like a P30 step van and have just the side so that we could have the window be like the window on a food truck, but it didn't work out that way. I couldn't find one within price range to be able to chop it up and do that. But I mean, it would look great. Possibly with graffiti later on down the road, we'd be able to do that. And
I think they just want that connection.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all.
Yeah. Especially like if the food's running later, if it's really busy, they want to know that everyone's working hard for them. And when they can see into the kitchen and see everyone running around and doing things quickly, and there's no one just standing there waiting.
It's a great point.
It's important. It eases their mind that everyone's working hard to get them what they're looking for.
Yeah.
See, I think for this, it was important to incorporate the food truck. So it's got to be that quick, and we serve in baskets for like all of our burritos that are for here, and we serve in the wrapped foil for the burritos that are to go, and everything is quick, as fast as possible, and out the door. And we try to be fast food, but a little more gourmet. Like we make a lot of things fresh in house. All of our guacamole, all of our sauces, all of our ingredients. Like we do a pepper mash where we have smoked jalapenos, and we buzz them down into a sauce, and then we add that to our marinade. And so it's just a lot of things. The details are important to me. When you delete the details, you kind of like delete that contact of yourself with the customer. I want something at a decent price, and I want it to taste good. Especially coming up in restaurants, I kind of know what goes into making the food. So when people cut corners, I mean, even if you look at fast food in general, if you look at McDonald's versus Wendy's, like I would take Wendy's over McDonald's any day. It feels like it was made for me, where McDonald's, it kind of feels like it's been sitting there for a little bit, and I can't bring myself to choke it down. Like it doesn't cost me any extra money. It doesn't cost me any extra time to plate things to look nice. It doesn't cost me any extra money to put the time and care that I don't have, I don't have a ketchup fingerprint on a wrapper. I don't, you know what I mean? It doesn't cost me anything extra to do those things. And it's important to me. I think that's one of the great things about, this country in general is like, I can chase after something that I think I'm going to like. So I kind of built this place around my tastes, knowing that I'm not alone. I like flavor, I like heat, I like coming to a place where I can have fun, and that's what I wanted to provide for my guests is, a place where they can come and enjoy the food and enjoy the atmosphere. We'll see the Cali influence was the taco truck itself. So when we had the taco truck, like it was just that, and I mean, the Grateful Dead. I love the Grateful Dead. So when you bring in like Mexicali, like I just think of Mexicali blues, and like that's kind of where it all came from. It was just and so like this is my version of like if someone says they're nostalgic about the 50s, but they're only 20 years old, right? And like they just see the things. This is that for me. But like I'm I love the feel you get from like just like looking at the pictures of like Venice Beach, and you things like that, and the culture out there and the diversity. We don't really have that out here, and especially like in such a rural area. But I enjoy it, so that's right. No, I wanted this place to feel like I just went on vacation and I'm going into like a beach restaurant on vacation. That's what. Right. Well, that, and I mean, I wanted to have the care that goes into it, like it's a small business, because it is a small business, but I also wanted it to be something that people could count on, like the quality and stuff like that to be as consistent as if you went into a chain restaurant. So it was really important to me to have it be almost to the point where you couldn't decipher, is this a chain? Is it a chain? Is it a mom and pop shop? So I wanted them to be able to come in and be like, kind of have that wow factor that you get from a lot of chain restaurants, but then still have the feel of the mom and pop shop, where you get to talk to the owner who's taking your order and give them suggestions on things that you want. And it's important to me. We aim to be like fresh. We don't use a lot of things with preservatives. It's just the way you should eat. Like, whole ingredients taken down. We have chicken thighs, and we marinate them in house with fresh ingredients, and all of our burritos are made with fresh ingredients. We take dried beans and bring them up. We don't just open a can. Those things are really important. Yes, that's kind of like a shortcut thing, right? I don't like taking shortcuts. It's not in my blood. So I left my other job for the time being, and kind of took a leave of absence so that I could come in here and get more specials and get more food. So we're branching out and getting different things on the menu, kind of getting a feel for like what people are looking for, what people want. hitting social media a lot harder the last few weeks, just to be able to get the word out.
So,
Because once people come back, they come back and come back and come back constantly. So it's a matter of getting them in the door, and then once they're in the door, they love it. Yeah, they love it. I think around here, this is something that I'm hoping will take off to the point where other people attempt it. Where other people, maybe not this exact concept, but other people attempt to go after their own business, go after, I'm just a guy who worked as a cook and loved it and just pursued it in different avenues. Like I had to go into manufacturing to get the money to be able to open my own restaurant. And I really would love to see a lot of people from my generation to open their own businesses and take the risk and do what they want to do instead of just going to work for a job that they can't stand. That's really the nuts and bolts of it.